Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Mark Brajek here, coming to you with another video. And right now, I am in Gothenburg, Sweden. For those of you who don't know, I have been living here since the middle of November, minus the 1 month that I came home to surprise my mom for Christmas. And in this video, I'd like to address a few things, considering the fact that we are in a global pandemic thanks to the coronavirus. A lot of people from back home have been so kind, so loving, as to be praying for me and to also reach out and ask me about my situation here in Sweden, particularly people from my home country of Canada. And I really, really do appreciate all of the love, the thoughts, the prayers, and again, for reaching out as well to just to see how I've been doing. So, I do want to address a few things. I do want to answer a few questions that some of you might be having or some of you have had. This is, I guess you can consider this a frequently asked video, or a video addressing frequently asked questions. And so I'll address a few things, maybe not necessarily in this order, maybe not verbatim this way, but before I started this video, before I hit record to make this video, I wrote down a few questions. So the first question that I wrote down was, will you be coming home? Will you be coming back home to Canada anytime soon? Are you okay financially, or how are you doing financially? Do you have health insurance? And are you at risk for actually catching the coronavirus itself? And the last question that I wrote down is, what are people doing to protect themselves? In other words, what is life like here in Gothenburg, considering this whole pandemic mess that we've seemed to find ourselves in? So the first thing that I guess I'll answer the first question. The first question is, will you be coming home? And to be honest, I'm not really sure right now. I don't have any real plans to book a flight. I have been loosely looking at flights and flight prices and stuff like that, and some of the flight prices to come home are pretty good, but I'm really seeking the Lord on this one. I'm not too sure. I'm not really too concerned, to be honest, and in terms of actually catching the virus, I would much rather stay where I am at right now rather than come home. The reason for that is because I think the airports would be posing the biggest risk of me actually catching the virus. And what I'm more concerned about is my parents, because my parents are, they would probably be at most risk if they were to actually catch the virus. And I don't want to be the person that's responsible for them being infected if I was to travel home through airports or through the airport or airports. So for that reason, I think unless there's a different I don't know, unless I get dealt with different reasonings for coming home. I think as of now, I think I'm just going to stay put here in Gothenburg, Sweden, until some of this passes over. I have thought about leaving Gothenburg and maybe going to a different city in Sweden, but that's not something that I've really spent too much time thinking about and also considering, because yes, I do have a visa to be here. I have the right to work and live here in Sweden up until towards the end of September. And to be honest, I think that this pandemic is going to blow over fairly quickly. I do think that the Canadian government is going to be closing the borders sometime soon. I don't know when. It's just my own personal thinking. It's my own personal judgment. I could be totally wrong, but I think what's going to happen is before I come home, the Canadian border is going to close and then open those borders. But considering Denmark and what they've done, so Denmark has closed their borders, but they are allowing the Danish citizens to come in through their borders. And I would imagine that if Canada was to do that, then they would allow Canadians to to come home during that time if they really wanted to. But again, my concern about coming home is me being infected and not knowing it, and then me passing it on to my parents. And so for that reason, I think I'm going to stay here. But with that being said, things could change in the next week or so. So if my opinions on these matters do change by next week, then I might go ahead and make another video. So I am doing okay financially, to answer the next question. I am a substitute teacher at 3 different schools right now, and that leads me to the next question to talk about, are you at risk? I guess in a way I am, because I do take public transit every day, and I'm exposed to so many different people every day, both in my job and riding on public transit. Unfortunately, Sweden has not yet decided to close their schools in the country. I don't know why. A lot of people are wondering, why aren't they doing it? Norway has closed their schools, Finland has closed their schools, and Denmark has closed their schools as well. So everybody is really just wondering, like, what's going on with Sweden? Why has Sweden still not closed their schools? And obviously that's something that we don't fully understand why, but that's the situation. And so as far as I'm concerned, I'm going into work tomorrow, at least as of right now, March 15th at 7:15 p.m. Central European time, that is. I do have health insurance. I had to get travel insurance. I know I asked about health insurance, but travel insurance, I had to purchase it before I left Canada in order for me to get my visa, and I do have health benefits in there, which is it's a much longer story that I won't get into right now. And if I can find the link, I will post it in the description box below this video if you would like to go ahead and read up on those things. I purchased my travel insurance through World Nomads, so some of you might know a little bit about that. And what are people doing to protect themselves? What are some things, what's the mentality of the people here? What has it been like since this pandemic has really become a pandemic? I personally haven't seen shelves that are just empty beyond measure, but I have heard stories of different grocery stores and whatnot in the city of Gothenburg that where places are just empty. They're just, you can't really buy anything, or you can't buy a lot of things. At least the stores that I've been to, I've seen plenty of food items on the shelves, so I'm not too concerned. I do have some food in my fridge, so I think I'm going to be fine. And I do think a lot of people are taking this a little bit too, I don't want to say they're not taking it seriously, but they're overreacting a little bit. It is obviously ridiculous that people are buying toilet paper like crazy. Again, this is all just my personal opinion. And I don't think that we're going to have a shortage of toilet paper. I think we're going to be fine. And yeah, it's definitely, I went to church this morning, and the one who was preaching today was saying that he mentioned 2 things. He said that, number one, we are an international church, and everybody that's in that church comes from different nations. I'm not going to name any of the nations, but we all come from different parts of the planet, and we're all looking at news from not only here in Sweden, but also to find out what's going on in our home countries. And I thought that was quite interesting. And then the other thing that he mentioned was, he said that the grocery store or stores that he's been to, there wasn't many shelves that were just completely empty of product, but he did say that there was this thing in the air that you can just kind of feel that everybody is thinking something about the coronavirus. And I'm sure that you're probably having that exact same experience as well back home, wherever you're living at right now. I know that I am. I'm thinking about it all the time. I am trying to do the best that I can to protect myself. I'm not too sure. I'm not too convinced on how well a mask is going to protect me from the coronavirus. Um, so I don't actually have one, at least not right now. Another thing to mention is the fact that I have a flight booked next month to. I know I'm like switching gears pretty hard here, but I have a flight booked next month to go to London, England, on April 3rd. But I'm trying to get that refunded right now because my flight to London is from Denmark, and as I mentioned earlier, Denmark has closed their borders completely. So except for Danish residents. And so I don't even think I can go on that flight, even if I wanted to. So I'd like to get that trip refunded. The problem is it's a multi-city flight. It's not a round trip. And so on the way back, I've decided to fly from Stansted in London. Um, sorry, Stansted Airport, London, to Gothenburg. And I don't know if they're going to be able to give me a refund for that. Again, there's still a bit of time before that date comes, so things could change. And as you probably already know, um, things are changing so quickly by the hour. Um, yeah, so I'm trying to get that refunded right now. And then on top of that, I have a trip with 5 other friends to the north to a place called Kiruna, Kiruna. I had to make that clear because a lot of people think I'm talking about the coronavirus. No, it's a place called Kiruna in Sweden. It's way in the north. It's like where Santa Claus lives. We're going to be taking a trip on a train 18 hours north of here to go there. And we're going to just spend a few nights away from, not necessarily away from this pandemic crisis that we're having. That's not really our intention. It's just to just go and have a good time and to experience something different, and hopefully we'll be able to see the northern lights. So as much as it would be nice to come home during a time like this, to be honest, I think I'd really like to go and see the northern lights. um, and again, I'm really not too concerned about me getting sick. It is a bit of an annoyance that the Canadian borders could be shutting down, and who knows, maybe even all flights together altogether might stop. And Justin Trudeau might do the same thing that Donald Trump did and suspend all incoming flights uh, from Europe to Canada. Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. But again, I think this all kind of comes back to what I'm saying what I said at the beginning. I think I'm just going to stay put here in Gothenburg. So I wanted to give you guys all a little bit of an update of what it's like to live here as an expat, as a Canadian expat in Sweden. Again, one thing I just want to reiterate, what I'll make mention of is, yeah, everybody's just kind of thinking it. Whether you're on a tram, a bus, in church, in a grocery store, in a mall, whatever, everybody is thinking it. I'm doing the best that I can to avoid people. I'd also like to say, I almost forgot to mention that I do have quite a few friends here in Sweden that I've made since I moved here. Not only friends inside of my church, but also friends outside of my church. And we see each other pretty much every day. Today, after church, I decided to come home and spend a lot of time on my laptop doing some administrative stuff, trying to get my refund back for my flight that I have scheduled in London. And just things like that. I'm just staying home today. I'm just taking it easy. I haven't really had a lot of days where I'm just at home, just hanging out, just chilling. So right now I'm just sort of getting caught up on a few things, and yeah, I don't know. Right now as of now, I'm supposed to be going into work tomorrow, and again, the Swedish government has not decided to close their schools, and hopefully they will. But I also have to mention that if they do close their schools, then I'm going to be out of a job and I'm going to be out of pay as well because I'm not on a contract. So it's sort of, it's hard to say. It's like I could be out of a job and the schools could be closed and I could be not receiving any pay, And the plus side of that is like I could be doing other things. I could be hanging out. I could be chilling. I could, sleep in and all that kind of stuff. But then the other side is like if they keep it open, I'm at risk, and I will in fact receive pay. So I am one of the lucky or unlucky few candidates here that is working in the school and potentially not going to be receiving pay. Thankfully, financially speaking, overall my economy is fine. So I have much bigger problems to worry about than my financial situation. So I'm not too concerned about that. I am doing the best that I can to keep my hands clean, wash them often, try not to touch too many surfaces, whether I'm out in public or even at home, to be honest, because I do live with somebody, and yeah, I don't know what else to say. So I don't want to let this video go on for too long, but that's kind of it. And I would like to encourage you all for anybody that's been watching, to comment below. And if you have any questions that maybe I didn't answer in this video for you, please go ahead and comment them, and I will do the best that I can to answer them, possibly either directly or in a video in the near future. But that's it for now. And for those of you who have been praying for me, who have been thinking about me, who have been reaching out to me and asking me what's going on over there, are you going to be coming home? I would just say, like, first of all, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And secondly, there's no need to worry. I feel healthy. I'm doing okay. And yeah, just love you guys so much. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace.